Today on Bridge City News, an anti-crime rally was held today in Lethbridge as some residents say change is needed to fight a growing crime problem. The family of a 3-year-old boy in Winnipeg who was stabbed multiple times mourns as he was taken off life support. Although China is hosting the 2022 Winter Olympics, the nation's human rights record is still proving to be terrible as another church gets destroyed.
Your nation, your province, your southern Alberta. From the heart of Lethbridge, it's Bridge City News Weekend Edition with Paul Arthur.
Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. An anti-crime rally was held this afternoon in Lethbridge along Mayor McGrath Drive as the leader of the group Connecting Our Community Lethbridge, Mallory Christensen, continues her efforts to fight back against the growing crime problem in southern Alberta.
We've seen a dramatic increase in property crime and drug-related crime. That's, attempted break and enters, going through people's backyards. We started at Connecting Our Community as a result of a woman who was violently sexually assaulted in our neighborhood. We stood up because we believe that our community deserves better, that our neighborhood deserves better. The City of Lethbridge needs to continue to consider hiring more police officers. We know that a motion for 8 has recently been passed and going through the police commission. However, we know that 8 officers will make somewhat of an impact, but we do need more. We're here today to raise awareness, we're here today for solutions, and we're here today to come together as a community to say enough is enough.
Christensen says the group will continue to hold community meetings every second Monday at 6 p.m. at Lethbridge Tabernacle Church. Fort Macleod Town Council has decided to allow Fortis Alberta to take over operations of the town's utility system. That decision was made almost a year ago, but there was a waiting period to receive clearance from the Alberta Utilities Commission. With this now out of the way, Fortis will pay the town $5 million on November 12th and will begin making some system upgrades, including installing new power poles and transformers. The Wexit Alberta Group held a separation rally last night in Edmonton, with hundreds of supporters turning out to discuss their options. Wexit leader Peter Downing has sent a letter to Alberta Premier Jason Kenney, calling on him to legislate a referendum on Alberta's separation from Canada. Kenney is on record as opposing separation. More Wexit rallies are being planned in the weeks ahead. Alberta Health Services is hoping to make paper records a thing of the past with the launch of a new electronic system today. The new initiative, called Connect Care, will be rolled out in waves, allowing healthcare providers a central access point to patient information, common clinical standards, and best healthcare practices. More than 19,000 users, including some 3,000 physicians, have already undergone extensive program training over several months. A 3-year-old boy in Winnipeg who was stabbed multiple times has died after being taken off life support. Hunter Hayes Straight-Smith's family gathered around his hospital bed for the child's last moments yesterday at the Health Sciences Centre. A 33-year-old man who was in an on-again, off-again relationship with Hunter's mother has been charged with attempted murder.
The mother that was her only child, and she went through a hard time. She's been through hell and back, she needs help and prayer. She's asked. That's why she asked for prayer here tonight. But today for Hunter, to give them the strength to pick a time and to take the life support off. And a lot of people are trying to reach out to them through social media, but they're so distraught that they can't answer people so much comments and get well and stuff like that, but at a later time maybe they will get the people that were there for them. And my heart broke when I was beside them. I too have kids, and to see a baby laying there that did no harm to no one really broke my heart.
I was the one who put the post on Facebook yesterday asking for prayers for little Hunter. We need guidance to curb us from all our anger when we just want to lash out. The Creator is the only one who can carry us through all this. I'm a very spiritual person, and I think that with all the events that are going on throughout Manitoba, throughout Canada, it's getting everybody mad. It's getting everybody upset. It's making rifts all over left and right, and we need to center ourselves and start praying and talking to our elders and asking for guidance. We can't do this alone.
Electricity has been restored to more than 80% of the close to 1 million Hydro-Quebec customers who lost power during Friday's windstorm. Authorities say they hope to have most of the remaining 139,000 customers reconnected by the end of the day. However, large sections of the province could still be in the dark for several days to come. Firefighters in Southern California have made progress on a large blaze, lifting the evacuation order this morning. The Maria fire near Los Angeles has torched nearly 39 square kilometers and is now about 50% contained. The fire began Thursday morning during winds that fanned flames across the state, damaging crops, including those on John Grether's farm.
I'm guessing, without seeing all of the ranch, but knowing the vulnerable areas, that we probably have lost about 10 acres of trees. It depends really on how much damage there was to the trunk of the tree and to the main scaffolding branches. This is much worse at this particular location. Here's an avocado that was scorched on the outside, and I've cut it in half here, and you can see how there's damage already showing up on the inside. So this fruit will drop off and be ruined, and it'll definitely not be sellable.
When the fire started, within a few hours, it got to us fairly quickly. So when the fire comes through, it's amazing all the work we put in every year and year after year, and then just a couple of hours, it just wipes it out.
After years of delay, Saudi Arabia has formally begun a public offering of its state-run oil giant Saudi Aramco. The offering will see a sliver of the company offered on a local stock exchange, with the kingdom reportedly hoping for a $2 trillion valuation. Known formally as the Saudi Arabian Oil Company, Saudi Aramco produces more than 10 million barrels of crude a day, about 10% of global demand. China is one of the world's biggest economies and will be hosting the 2022 Winter Olympics, but it remains a nation with a very poor human rights record. According to China Aid, Chinese authorities recently destroyed a large church in China and detained its pastors. Bryn Lawrence with China Aid reports.
When the demolition was taking place, the people were still attending church services. This was a legal church within China. Just all of a sudden, the authorities come in and decide to demolish the church. We have the example of Golden Lampstand Church, which was another huge congregation that was demolished last year. We've seen increased church demolitions happening in places like Henan province, where the authorities are just really clamping down on churches. And we've seen increased demolitions of churches across the board.
Chinese authorities detained the church's pastors, Gang Yimin and Sun Yong Yao, on suspicion of gathering a crowd to disturb social order. With at least 12,000 Syrian refugees crossing into northern Iraq fleeing the ongoing conflict, Samaritan's Purse has sent in their disaster assistance response team to provide urgently needed supplies.
Samaritan's Purse is here in northern Iraq, responding to the growing refugee crisis from the recent fighting that's developed in Syria. A lot of these families were displaced in a split moment. They had to leave their homes and leave everything behind, so they don't have basic items. Behind me right now, they're loading up the critical hygiene kits for women and children. It's got diapers, wipes, toothbrushes, soap. They've been loading water, so we loaded 4,600 cases of large bottles of water, and we've been loading blankets as it gets cooler and cooler for these families. I don't think the story of the Good Samaritan tells us to just care about the neighbor that lives next door. So as we respond as Samaritan's Person, we want to be the Good Samaritan to people that are from a land different from our own. Keep them in your hearts and your prayers over the next few weeks. Pray for peace in the region, and that they can hopefully return to their homes.
And recapping one of our top news stories, an anti-crime rally was held today in Lethbridge, as some residents say change is needed to fight a growing crime problem. And a look at weekend weather. Cloudy tonight with a 60% chance of flurries this evening and a low of -4. Tomorrow, cloudy in the morning, then a mix of sun and cloud in the afternoon with a southwest wind gusting from 20 to 40 and a high of +3. Life is full of ups and downs, and when the challenges of life come our way, we often struggle with why it happens and how to handle it. We get some advice on this from Rowan Crown, pastor of Amazing Grace Community Church, coming up next. But first, here's a look at what's happening in and around your community.
Here's your Bridge City News Community Calendar. A Victorian Prairie Christmas is taking place November 13th and 14th from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Galt Historic Railway Park, north of Sterling, Alberta. Enjoy a beautiful and festive atmosphere featuring live entertainment, delicious food, and Christmas pudding with rum sauce. Admission is $20 for adults or $18 for groups of 5 or more. Pre-book today by calling Jeff DeBoer at 403-327-2854. And for more information, visit galtrailway.com. The Downtown Lethbridge BRZ is looking for volunteers to help with the Downtown Holiday Market taking place Saturday, November 23rd. Volunteers will be assisting with setup and takedown, handing out popcorn and hot chocolate, and the best job of all, helping Santa Claus. For more information, email Tasha at tasha@downtownlethbridge.com. And that's your Bridge City News Community Calendar.